The younger brother took the blame for someone else. He paid $50,000 for his brother's dowry. But when he got out of jail, he found out brother didn't get married. Instead, he used the money to buy a gun. He robbed a bank, and he said,
这都是你哥哥抢回来的，我回不了头了，也不愿意回头。我不想过爸妈的苦日子，硬挨着等死啊。
My brother wants to leave my brother. He wanted to live a normal life, but he held him down and loaded the gun. He knew his brother was serious because the previous bank robbery, one of his brothers was injured and caught by the police. His brother didn't just walk away. He came back and ran him over because my brother's credo is
我说过，这阎王爷能把我们分开。
Luckily, this time it was just a joke. He did not make things difficult for his brother, but respected his brother's choice. But if you're not enemies, you can't get together. The brother came out to go to the toilet. He ran into the rich man who put him in jail.
不是判了5年吗？怎么出来这么早啊？表现好啊。
My brother wanted to ask him for an explanation, but the rich man's face is quite ugly. While mocking him, he even took money, throwing money in his face. But times have changed. He beat the tycoon on the ground until the rich man's family came out to help. The younger brother would not stop. That's when the older brother arrived with his men. He thought his brother had been drinking and causing trouble, so he tried to pay him off. But the brother said, he's the one who put me there. So they kidnapped the tycoon. The brother killed the tycoon's brother-in-law. Then he held him in his arms. He watched his wife being beaten to death. The tycoon's death was the worst when the police found his body. When his body was found by the police, there was not a single piece of blood or skull on the ground. And after the revenge, the younger brother didn't want to leave. He wanted to follow his brother. He's going to follow his brother and rob all the gold shops. This tea house is so strange. As long as you put up a sign saying that new tea has arrived, the number of male customers will increase exponentially, and they're all wearing bathrobes. Wei didn't think too much when he first came here. He asked the boss's wife what his colleague told him.
你就问他是不是上了新茶？
你们这儿是不是上了新茶？
老板要多新的茶？
比新马泰还新的茶，
比新马泰还新的茶。
Hearing this answer, the boss's wife immediately took him to the first floor, only to see a secret door slowly open. Out of it came a dozen girls. Every one of them was as beautiful as heaven. Our wife finally realized, this is not a tea cellar. It's just a shop selling dog meat.
别跟我动手动脚的！
你怎么还跟我急眼了呢？我们做生意的，你爱来不来。
At that moment, Wei's police colleague approached us, but the boss's wife was prepared. She immediately set off the alarm inside the shop. The police pushed open the secret door. They searched all the rooms inside, but there was no one breathing. The boss's wife refused to admit it, but police officer Wang is very experienced. There's a painting hanging in the lobby. It doesn't fit in with this place. When I took it off, I saw that the fairies were here, but Wang wasn't interested in them. Instead, he found a man named Chicken. And brought him to the police station for interrogation, because this chicken specializes in making imitation shotguns. And a few days ago, a bank was robbed. The robber used a gun made by this guy. But there's one thing that's very unfortunate. Chicken only knows one of the robbers, and during the robbery, the gun in his hand suddenly blew up. He died in the end, but fortunately, Chicken had a few encounters with him. He vaguely remembers. The robbers were looking for a suitable gold shop, but there are so many gold shops in the city, they didn't know when to start and how to check them out.
他们第一次抢的是滨海银行40万，所以这次的金店不会低于这个数。那为了方便逃跑，他们会选择6000多的金店选择，所以只有这一家最符合。
The robbers killed the security guard who was carrying the gold, but they left the only witness behind. They forced him to call the police immediately. Before leaving, they put a grenade in his mouth. The police who were in ambush at the gold shop received the news. They immediately came to arrest the robber, but when they arrived, they realized this is the robber's trick.
妈的，中套了！老黄，赶紧给局里打电话叫排炮队来。阿生，跟我回金店，走。
Luckily the police arrived in time. They met the robbers after robbing the gold shop, but I never thought. These robbers made a quick decision. They took out a large amount of cash from the box and threw it to the onlookers. They all started to rob like crazy. The police had no way out. They could only watch as the robbers got into the car and left. The robbers were so excited to get a taste of their own medicine.
哥， 我从来没见过这么多金子啊！
你以后还能见到更多啊，好玩的才刚开始啊。
Since then, these guys have been on the prowl, robbing small banks in local cities. They made millions in one fell swoop. The leader of the robbers knew it very well, as long as they wore masks every time they showed up, and there was no pattern to the order of the crimes. In 1997, under the circumstances of the case, even if they passed by the police, wouldn't cause any problems, but there's always a catch. His own brother, he found a girlfriend who works in a bank. The police followed the clues and found him, and found out where he was hiding. So they went to the fish market. They cleared out the passers-by first, then they split into 3 groups to encircle the area. But the robber didn't know it. He was still relaxing on a bench. The police pressed him down, but this man's reflexes are extremely fast. 2 or 3 men were no match for him. These robbers are all desperados. They have guns hidden everywhere. They're very experienced in street fighting, although many of them were shot, but they escaped. Only, the robber boss's own brother was caught by the police. The brother is the last family member of the boss. Even if he destroys the whole world, he has to get his brother back in one piece.